I don't know how to use group by so watching when it comes to pandas. When I started off, and I felt like if I had something like this, it would have been very easy.
Well, next speaker is going to be a little bit more technical. We're going to go into the weeds of it, like, how to build stuff using like the AI agents and, improve our workflows, right? So call on Emmanuel to come and give us his own presentation on using AI agents to build. Yeah.
Is anyone an analyst here or a scientist? Show of hands. I see my people. Hi. Okay. So we have so I'm going to, if time permits, I'm going to show in two areas, like the EDA parts, like regular data analysis, right? Trying to understand, like, answer questions from your data and hopefully clean dirty data and all of that. And then I'm going to show also a quick, very basic ML on how I can use Claude Code to do that as well. So we're going to start like with the data analysis part of the things, right? I just got this data set from, I think it was from Kaggle, right? I'll just open it now so you see what that looks like. Right, so this is the data set we're working with. It's just like a population data set, pretty simple, right? There's a rank. This CC3 is like the country code in like three alphabets, like three letters. There's a country, there's a capital, the continents. Then these are like different populations at different years. So I think we have from like 1970 to 2022. Then we have the area of like the area of the country, right? And the density. And we also have like the world population as well, right? So we're going to use this data set to answer a couple of questions. No, a few questions. Let me show what that question is. Right. So these are the questions we're going to be answering, right, using the data set. And if you're giving this as a project, I'd like someone to let me know what the first things they would do, like, or how you tackle this. Can anyone? I marked the data analyst here, so I'm going to pick someone at random. Nobody talks. No worry, no wrong answers. Just anyone. Hi.
The first thing to do, okay, the first thing to do is to ensure that the data is clean. You have to clean the data first before you start working on it.
Right. Clean data. Very good. So data dictionary is just it's like a doc that explains your data sets, majorly like the column headers. Like I was showing you all of these headers here, the capital. I mean, everybody knows what these are like, right? So this didn't come with any dictionary, but like you do understand when you see continents, you know the continents in the world. When you see countries, you know what countries to expect there, and it's pretty simple. So there's not much deep dive that we can do right now, other than maybe checking for null values, checking for duplicate values, right? These are the kind of things to do. Now, after doing all of that, right, and exploring the data, deleting the duplicate values if there are, filling the null values like the lady over there said, um, you decide, oh, do I want to drop this null records? Do I want to delete them or do I want to fill them? And the strategy that you would take depends on your understanding of the data, right? There are some data points that you say, oh, like it's fair enough for me to like take the mean value, or it's fair enough for me to take the median, right? Or it's fair enough for me to use the mode when it comes to like categorical variables, right? So those are the kind of things you typically want to think and understand. And so we're going to use Claude Code to do all of this, right? But just so you know how powerful Claude Code is, I wanted to ask that question, and you can see how much thoughts would go into doing all of that, understanding it before you even start answering the questions, right? Answering the questions is another thing, right? Because like you need to, like she said, you need to know the right tools to use. Do you use Python? Do you use Excel? Do you use Google Spreadsheets? Do you use Power BI? There are several tools out there, right? There's so many tools out there that you can use, right? And some of these tools comes with its complexity. Some are simpler. Then there are other ones that, to answer a question, especially for beginners, right? How do I delete null values, or how do I fill null values? You go on Google. Oh, Google says you should do imports pandas as speedy, then do pd.read csv. Okay, yes, I've written it. All that process can take you maybe like for a pro very in a few seconds, right? But for someone who is just learning and starting out, it might take a while. And there are also other, like, I won't say complex, but like there are other transformations that you might have to do in your data that can take a while to figure out, right? The one I remember when I started off was, the one that gave me headache is group buys. I don't know how to use group buys so much when it comes to pandas. When I started off, and I felt like if I had something like this, it would have been very easy. You guys remember Stack Overflow? So sad how all of these things, all of these AIs are coming around now and making it very obsolete. Like, sad. But anyway, we move on. Yeah, so we're going to be using Claude Code to answer these questions. But before we use Claude Code, I still want to ask you guys. Let's go through some of the questions manually, and somebody walk me through what they would do to get any of like the response to the question. So the first one says, which countries have the highest and lowest population in 2022? How would anybody do that here? Oh, by the way, I think I checked. I don't think there are duplicate values here, but we can check for that, right? Uh, so I'm just going to open. Okay, I think I have one open here. Okay, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to use my Claude. So for Claude Code, right? I'm not sure if they have a free version, because I had to pay for this one. They have different plans. I think three plans, if I can remember correctly. The cheapest plan is $20 for a month. So yeah. So like when you install, so usually you come to, when you open your, VS Code. Everyone is familiar with VS Code. Yeah. So come down to the extension. So you just come here, you search Cloud Code. It's right here already. So this is how to set it up. It's pretty straightforward. So it's the one from Anthropic, right? I've installed it here. That's why I can't click on. Usually you see like an install button. You click on that. So when you install Cloud Code, then you usually have like this pop up come around there, and when you click on it. So because I already have an account here, that's what you're seeing. That's why you're seeing it this way. Usually you have like a cute bunch of text asking you to take further steps, like signing up, creating an account, then paying for that account. So you can link it to your Google account. That's what I did. So once you just do that, you have pretty much access to using Qual Code. Um, so yeah, so we're going to be using Cloud Code to check, to just we ask it to do EDA to see if there are like duplicates or there are null values. So I just simply, and the Cloud Code is like your assistant. Just think of it as your assistant. You have a data scientist beside you, a data analyst beside you, and you just throw it questions you know, to help you out with your work. So we just ask it, say, okay, just in plain English, you say, I have let's say the data, I think it's called, where is it? World population CSV. So say I have the world. So I asked it, I told it what data set I have. I think I should specify the folder. So it has access to your files, right? And oh, just so you know, because it's an agent, right? It can do things like writing scripts for you, can literally create like a whole script that does stuff. So we're going to see that. So that means it has access to your files. It can edit your files. It can read your files. It can save files, create files, all of that thing. So you have to be careful on what permissions you give to it, right? So if I come down here, you see the different permissions you have, right? The ask before edit. I like using ask before edit, so I see whatever it wants to do before. I have to authorize that edit. If it's to create a file, it's to edit an existing file. If it's to delete a file, even right, it has to ask for my permission before I do that. Then there is this edit automatically. It just does it by itself. So whenever I have a project I want to tackle, it's advised to have like a virtual machine, right, where you store files or whatever it is you want to work on that don't have sensitive data, because it can actually read the files and use it for its training. I'm not sure if it does that on the paid version, but ChatGPT uses your data for when you're on free plan. But if you're on paid plan, I think there's an option for you to opt out of that, right? So I don't know if this paid plans offers that. I haven't checked, but usually it's safer for you to just create a virtual environment, move all the files to that virtual environment there, then use your Claude Code. So whatever it does, whatever happens there, it's outside of your personal file, so you don't have to worry about it. So I'll leave it on the ask before edit, so we can give it permission. It doesn't do anything crazy with our data. Um, okay. So yeah, blah blah blah. We said I have the word in. So I want to specify the folder because you can see I opened up a folder called the Claude Code demo, and in that folder I have like two folders: the housing price ML and the population data folder. Right, so I need to specify to it. Although I think it will be able to tell where this file is because it has access to everything there, but just simplicity and clarity too is very important. So it does exactly what you need it to do. So we just need to specify the folder in population population data. Okay, in population data folder. So when I click enter, so it's going to think and it's going to walk you through all its processes, like what it's doing, what it's trying to do before it even gets to the final answer. So it thought in less than a second. Okay, 9 seconds. So let me see. It says let me start by exploring the project structure and reading the CSV part to understand what we're working with, which is what we all said. Understanding your data, that's what it's doing. So it took you like 9 seconds. Do you think it will take you 9 seconds to go through that data? And that's because it's even small. Imagine you have like a big file, having to go through all the individual columns and checking for all these things that we just talked about. So, yeah. So it said, let me explore the project structure and the data first. So it does a bunch of stuff. So see where it reads the data. Then it reads the demo. This I created this. I shouldn't have created this. So we'll see how it's created, but it's fine anyways. I didn't do anything. That's what it did. That's what Claude Code did. So how quick can you speed up 176 lines of code in less than 10 seconds? So it's pretty amazing what it can do. Um, so so that's the permission now. Say allow writes to clean blah blah blah. You see. So if we had put it on automatic edit, so I've just created the file there and that's all, right? So let's just quickly go through what its thought process is. So it reads it here. This is where it thinks. It thinks for 23 seconds. So this is a little bit of what it was able to find. It said, I have enough context to write a comprehensive data cleaning script. Let me write the Python cleaning script now. From what I've seen, that these rows, one header, these are all the columns that we have there. Found at least one missing value, right? One missing value from 2015 in this row. Now I'm writing a clean script to handle that. Then I have a clear picture of that said that. Then he wrote the script. So this is what the script is like. You have like two ways if you want to allow. So you can come here, this button here, say accept proposed changes. So if you click on that, it's going to create the file. You see the clean underscore population.py. Right, you can do that, or you click on this, right? Or you can ask it to allow for this session. So the session is just this whole box here, like anything you type in, it's almost like switching on the automatic edits for it. So let's click here. So we click on that. You see where it's created the file now. I didn't create this. The file I created was demo.py, but it created this. So you can see. So this is just EDA. We've not asked it any question yet. So imagine doing EDA, like how much time it would take for you to do that, but we spent like less than 1 minute getting this. So I find out that with assistants like with AI agents like this, what you are to concern yourself with a lot of the times is doing code reviews, right? And also making sure that the codes that it generated does what you actually want it to. If you're not very clear with what you want, sometimes it can be leave the box open and does anything, right? So you have to check the code, understand what you want to do first, because if it gives you something that you don't fully understand, you might just think that's the right answer. It's just like the way ChatGPT does hallucination. You know what hallucination is? Yeah. So the equivalent here is just giving you buggy codes or doing something that it's not your end goal, right? So most of the times is to review the codes and write test scripts to be sure that any function that it creates does what it's meant to do. And even in the testing the functions, right, you can also ask it to do that. You can ask it to, oh, hey, write functions to verify that write test scripts or test functions or whatever to verify that these functions actually work as they should. Include edge cases too, right? Those are the kind of things you most likely want to do with Claude Code. So if you go through and it documents pretty decent, I would say. Okay, let me switch my environment here. So NumPy works. Okay, so it says read the file, then just prints out, what's it called? Like logging each step. That's what it's doing here. So one population data cleaning reports. It shows here the number of rows here, the dot shape, right? Number of columns as well. Then it lists the columns for us. It checks for duplicates here, so you can see the df dots duplicated. Then if there are any duplicates, it just sums that up and lets us know. Okay, so also it's checking for duplicates by just the country, because I'm not sure if we thought to check for that too, because usually when you want to check for EDA, even myself, if I want to check for duplicates, I check duplicates by the entire record. That's what I probably would do, right? But I didn't even think of, oh, I should check per country, because that's a population data. And if you have so each record in terms of the country should be unique. It's not the case where like it's an ID and you can have like multiple instances of that in your data set, right? So you can only have one country having all the populations across the years that we had there. So you can see how nice it is that it was able to do that. So it checked the duplicates by the country. What else again? Okay, this one is by the the alpha code country. This is by the country full text here. Then it drops the duplicates if there are any. It checks for missing values here. So you see the DF. So what we're doing now is typically what I do on my daily basis. Okay, because of time, I'll just let you guys know. So now let's just quickly go to the questions that we have for it. So let's ask it this. Oh, I think I should just throw in everything. just for this one, right? I just tell it, I need you to answer these questions using the world. You have to specify that it's a world population. They want it claimed, right? So I'll just type that now. Answer these questions with the data version. World population. World population. Oh, okay, okay. Must be. So just give it a few seconds. Right. Any questions so far?
My name is China Chinemere. So my question is, from what I see done so far, Claude,
Yeah,
Cloud, it's somewhat like ChatGPT. It's just literally like giving it the right prompt, right, to do something for you. So what exactly makes it better than ChatGPT? Though currently I use the free version of ChatGPT. I hope to do an upgrade soon. But basically it does almost the same thing as ChatGPT. I gave it a prompt. I've had scenarios where ChatGPT gives me like codes or helps me fix my code, or like I tell it, oh, I have this data set. How do I do this? And it does literally what you're showing me. So why do I need to use this instead? What's the advantage Cloud has as to compare to the typical ChatGPT?
So with ChatGPT, right? I stand to be corrected. With ChatGPT, you usually would typically have to go to the app, right, or like the web version, and you have to actually manually send the files there. So like the data set we have now, you have to move it to ChatGPT and ask it questions. ChatGPT can pretty much do this as well, right? Because like I said before, now I was using ChatGPT, and what I would do is go to my web browser version, ask the questions, upload files that I need to, right? But the nice thing about this is switch to from your work station to a different folder, like sorry, different like browser or windows to ask questions. And because this is like a paid version, this is a thing called context. I think ChatGPT has that too, but like with this, it stores every information that we talked about. So it can make references to conversations we've had, in past 2 hours or whatever, right? But like the really neat thing about it is just the way it's integrated in VS Code, like in your code itself, as to compared to ChatGPT, where you have to like move the files, switch to Windows, ask questions, come back later, and do all of that. And also, ChatGPT wouldn't have access to your files the way we have here. I just need to point it to the right direction, and it goes fetch what it needs, create the files, do the things that you would do without having to without you having to like do them, because when you ask for ChatGPT for responses, you have to download the code, come back here, paste it, do something buggy happens, you copy again, move. So all that time spent doing all of that can be cut short by just interacting with it directly. So you just literally have an assistant beside you working directly on your project. I hope that answers the question.
My name is Kutaji Joseph. I'm a product designer, also the founder of Sovo, which is a research tool for founders and decision makers to get research participants for their ideas or products that they are want to test, basically. So I want to contribute. So you asked, this is Claude. The example is given, and also you're asking if how different or more useful this is to ChatGPT. So I don't know if you've heard of something called skills. You should have seen it in the internet somewhere because of this trend with AI and all. So Claude has this thing called skills. So a skill is a set of instructions that you save and you have to call whenever you need a particular job done. So what that means is that I don't know exactly what you do, but if you find yourself repeating a set of prompts every time you need to use ChatGPT right now, a feature I which this AI tools have, which they don't have right now, is the ability to save your prompt, right? So there are some prompts you keep reusing that you want to keep somewhere. So right now we save it outside our AI tools. So what Claude does is you can create a skill, and every time you need to execute that particular
Call the
instruction or
skill.
set of prompts, you just call that skill. So ChatGPT doesn't have that right now, but with Claude, you can build a skill and activate it on Claude. So that's one unique advantage actually. Then you can even create agents and also activate it on Claude. So if you want, so we have what we call agents, we have sub agents. So let's say if I'm building a website, for instance, and to build a successful website, I need content creators, I need marketers, I need UX writer, I need a developer. So I need a set of skills or a set of agents to be able to pull up the job of creating a website. Now with Claude, I can create sub agents and give Claude a task that, okay, working with this sub agent, create one sub agent as a content writer, create another sub agent as a UX writer, create another sub agent as a product designer, so that at the same time, different sub agents will be running, right? And also, you can even give, so you can create a product manager, or maybe what's the word now? Let's say a manager role, such that if these sub agents are done executing their tasks or they are part of the task, don't just give me the results, think. So you basically, what you're saying with those roles is create a sub agent that thinks like this, create another sub agent that thinks like this, right? When everybody executes their task, have a manager who reviews the outcome of their work, and if it's not good, you can also attach a standard too. So you can create a markdown file which you will attach to Claude as like, okay, this is the standard I want. When you are done, review your output against this file and report to me. So with ChatGPT, yeah, it could be your AI assistant, but if you want to do really deep work and good work, Claude is where you should go to. So,
Thank you
contribution.
very much for that response. Yeah. Nice. So yeah, so like it's answered all the questions here, right? But yeah, so these are the questions that you can go through this text later. I can share the data set and you can experiment with yourself. But like, so data summary, like we've already known before, there are no duplicates. There are missing data points, all of that. Then this is the response to the questions, right? So the highest and lowest population, that's what we have here, right? So you ranked the top 10 here, then the bottom 10 here, right? The population distribution across continents. So you can see all the continents here, the countries in each of the continents, the estimated total population for the most recent year, which is like 2022, the population percent for that year, and just listing the dominant countries. So these are things that you can pretty much do. And it didn't create a script to do this, but we can also tell it to do that too as well. Just tell it, convert, write a Python script to do all of this. And you can even ask it to plot visuals, like literally anything that you do as an analyst, it can do that too, right? So my time is up, but I'm still open to take more. I should be this. It has, because with this stuff, like it has scraped like junior level roles, because these are the kind of things that you can just give an intern or like a junior level employee to work for you, right? And it's to just do it even faster and probably monitor. But don't fear, sure.
How do you think as analysts we can start using it to like leveraging the power? Because a lot of the times this has raised the standard, I think, of what it takes to be an analyst. It's no longer like cleaning
Yeah.
duplicates and everything. What do you think we should now be focusing on now as analysts compared to doing the menial works? How can we what are the things we should be focusing on now that we feel like, okay, there's these agentic tools can take over the things like duplicate cleaning duplicates and all that stuff? What should we be focusing on as analysts so that people can learn how to do those things instead, or think in systems instead of like still learning how to clean data sets?
So what I think, in my personal opinion, right, what I think people should focus more right now is building skills outside of just doing all of these data analysis. You probably need to find specializations that you want to take on, right? If you want to move to the medical side of things or whatever domain you want to move to, focus on that, right? You also okay. You also like need to learn the tools itself. To be honest, to be fair, because like for a while, even myself, I had like reservations on using tools like this because I felt like it made me, I don't want to use the word dumber, but like tasks that I I would probably take like longer time to do. It does it like really quick, and somehow it makes me feel like, why? But I think accepting it is first things because it's definitely here, and I don't think there's anything that will change that. So learn how to use the tool. It's a very good step for you, and also go beyond the tool. Right, go beyond just doing the pandas, doing the cleaning. Have more like concrete, what's it called, knowledge about the domain that you want to be in, you want to specialize in, or whatever it is you want to do, right? Those kind of, so it's more like a managerial skill kind of thing that I should be focused on. Because you can see now, all we did was just review the codes, which anybody can do. But like if you're able to review the codes, test the codes and all of that things, right? Those are good skill sets too. So just go move beyond trying to learn this particular skill because I want to be able to import this thing. Move beyond learning Power BI because I want to do import, I want to do no. Go beyond that and learn more non-technical things like how do I really solve problems now, right? Because if you have a problem, you can't just you need to be able to articulate the problem well, understand what it is you're trying to solve and all of that before you can even use this. You can't just dump something on it and ask it to do something that you don't understand. So you have to go beyond learning these tools, learning the coding and everything, and really coming to understanding the domain that you're in and how to like solve problems outside of writing the codes and doing all of that stuff yourself. So that's
My name is Ite. I'm a data analyst, right? So I want to ask regarding this code, right? Does it mean that Claude also helps with data science and data engineering wise? And also, I wanted to ask, oh my God, I've forgotten because, yeah, that's the question. Firstly, I want to ask, is it limited to, can we also use Claude for data science and data engineering?
I introduced myself earlier. I'm a data analyst and also functional data scientist. If time had permitted, I would have wanted to walk us through how to build models with Claude. It's pretty much the same thing we're doing. Just give it set of instructions, understand what you want to do, tell it what you want to do, point it to the data source, and it does it for you. Yes, I use it personally for my work as a data scientist every day. It does even, I would say, better code structure than I would. I learn from it most of the times. So yes, it does. It's not limited to just analysis, engineering, even in software engineering too as well.
Hi, Emmanuel. Sorry, one last question. Can you hear me?
Sorry, when she's
Okay,
yes.
so it's based on a statement that you made. You said after you started using AI, it made you feel sort of dumber. You didn't
No,
want to use that
it
word.
didn't make me feel dumber.
You but yeah, my question is actually surrounding that because when I first started using ChatGPT throughout this my data journey, um my boyfriend will always tell me, oh no, don't use ChatGPT, go and use Google or use Stack
Okay,
Overflow.
just connection.
If you keep using ChatGPT, you will not learn. It's just making it besides
I
it's
think
not
we're done.
resourceful and everything. So do you think using this AI tools has made us data professionals a bit laid back or a bit should I say lazy, because we are not really putting in the work compared to before where we have to actually do the data cleaning using our eyes, our visuals to check for null duplicates. Now we just have to like give the AI a prompt and it just gives us we can even use AI to do like literally the entire analysis and science work and everything. So do you feel like AI has made us a bit more lazy or has actually made it better for us?
Thank you for that question. I want to give like a very plain example. Before the time of calculators, before the time of computers, where we do things manually, what happened? We're able to do our work, right? But although it took more time, significant amount of time to do that, without a calculator here, if I ask somebody to multiply a ridiculous number, let's say 1,860, whatever, times something, before you get pen that down, you know how to do it. It's not a skill that you've lost. You know how to do it, but it takes a significant amount of time compared to getting that answer in like the snap of a finger. So what this thing does, just like what other technologies before us, did was shift the focus from doing repetitive tasks or mundane tasks that would take time, right, in the grand scheme of things, to other important structures. Stephen asked, like, what are the things that we can do in the advent of AIs and agents like this that come up, like what are the kind of things we should probably do? Like I said, move away from just learning the what's it called, learning Python or learning whatever tool that you need just because you want to know how to use it. You have to move away from that and start thinking critically and start moving to understanding different domains and like how you can actually solve problems, right? Articulate them well. And these are kind of tools that can help you solve those things once you've done that. So I don't think the AI has made us lazy or whatever. It just shifts our focus away from doing simpler tasks like this, right? That would typically take us a long time to thinking ahead of it, right? Like, for instance, some of these the data points that we have here and the questions, if we're to spend maybe like an hour to do that, or even more for even a professional, it might even take somewhere around that. But for beginners, can take more than that. But seeing like less than 10 minutes, we've gotten answers to like a lot of questions. Once we do that, like it moves away the simple things and helps us like go deeper, right? It's not longer it's surface level. So I don't think it's making us easy. It's just shifting our focus from doing repetitive, simpler tasks to thinking more critically about how we tackle problems.
Good day, everybody. My name is Favor, and I don't have a question. I just more like a take from all that has been happening. So, personally, as a data scientist slash data analyst, I feel that with the invent of AI, it has gone beyond trying to understand all these basic junior level roles, like you said. I feel for the question was asked, what should we focus on? I feel what we should focus now on is how to interpret these things to businesses, like how these businesses can use these things, because this is just an overview of their data set. Okay, now the business will ask, what does it mean for us as a business? That's where you come in with your expertise. You talk about how they can use these data sets, what they can predict from these data sets. So I feel that in a way, AI is just more like an assistant, and we are the ones with the roles. We are the one that we interact with fellow human beings to tell them that, because we don't expect every business to be knowledgeable about data. So that's where we come in. I feel that that's where we come in and explain these technical terms to them in a way that they understand. So I feel like it boils down to understanding the concept of your domain and understanding how to interpret what your AI has already done for you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for that. That was
Jennifer Callistos, the founder of NeuraGuide. So NeuraGuide, basically what we do is that we collate several AI tools into a single platform, right? So you get access to AI tools for any task you want to perform, right? So in the process of building NeuraGuide, there are several findings we made, right? So I feel there is something, my contribution might seem sort of like a doomsday kind of, it might give that kind of vibe, right? But I think a lot of people are ignoring what is happening in the AI field, right? The field in 2023 compared to 2026 is entirely different, right? There are a lot of changes, there are a lot of developments, and particularly, I don't want to single it to Africa, right? But there are a lot of demographics where these changes are not being appreciated enough, right? They are not being utilized enough. Before I go further, I want to thank the organizers of this event. I saw the topic online, I think day before yesterday, and I was like, this is a good event to be at, right? And for this session, talking about Cloud Code, right? Aside Cloud, there are several other platforms. You mentioned using OpenAI, ChatGPT. So ChatGPT has Codex. Codex is just like our Cloud Code, right? Then if you are, for those that work with Amazon, Amazon has Kiro, right? Google has anti-gravity. Google has about 3 different platforms for coding, right? So this information is not democratized enough. Only myself, I'm an AI engineer, so probably that's why I know a couple of these things. But I feel this information needs to be out there so people get to use these platforms. They get, for example, you working with ChatGPT, you don't need to now switch to Cloud Code. That can be a decision you can make, right? But you should also be aware that there is Codex, There are many other platforms out there that you can use. Okay, so my contribution generally is that we should all just get on it. Start using AI. Start using AI. It's late, but it's also quite early, right? There was a statistic that that the usage of AI out of over, I've forgotten how many billion people are in the world, right? We only have barely 3.2 million people using AI in the world actively, right? So if you compare that to the population of the world, we are still far, far behind. The adoption is not quite there. So you're still early and you have to jump on it, right? With cloud computer, like the speaker said, right? OpenAI released cloud computer recently. Perplexity computer is there as well.
Yeah.
And different platforms, different companies, they are working on this feature. So what it does basically, it's like a group of agents running in your computer. They will do everything. And this is still the early days. Imagine the capabilities in these early days. Then picture 2 years from now what AI would look like, right? So that just tells you that you just need to be using it, get used to it, use it for your work.
Yeah, that's good.
The more you use it, the better you become at it. That's the only way to stay safe, right? Job-wise in this climate, right? Start using it, get better at using it, and yeah, thank you.
I think we've come to the end of my presentation. I hope you guys found this useful and our conversations. Thank you.